Last week on Unsub.
My girls are gone, Mr. Grayson, and no one seems to give a damn about that. As soon as you say you live southeast, you can forget about the police. My girls are gone. The last place they were seen was at Bishop Grace's mission. Nobody messes with him because he's got political connections.
Rise up now, glory, glory. 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 Rise up now, glory, glory.
Lena and Wanda Boland. Do you know them?
I do not.
Westy, better get down here.
What is it?
Skin.
Wanda made it for me at the mission. I must have told her 100 times how good I felt seeing her wear hers.
I'll ask God to send you a sign.
Why don't you ask God? Send me Wanda and Lena Boland.
Grace owns about 45 acres in Putnam County, Virginia. Calls it a retreat.
Looks like it could fit. Bag it. I'm gonna find those bodies.
Don't think you are, Wes. Don't think they're here to be found.
This land is the property of the Eternal Light of God Church. You are violating the principle of sanctuary. What about the separation of church and state? What about my rights?
They asked me why you were turning this into a personal crusade. This is because Grace is a preacher.
Man becomes a preacher to save the world. The biggest problem I had as a seminarian, I still have it today, is with death. I used to be able to explain it as part of God's will. A real preacher has faith to leave that judgment in God's hands. I do not.
Now, you'll be off my property by tonight, or I'm going to sue you for harassment.
I want to check for enzyme levels in the soil. Decomposing flesh throws off high concentrations of enzyme.
Sample 75A is giving me very high readings. I think you should dig.
Over here!
It's here. Stop! Here, Ellen, it's here. You are under arrest.
Wes! It's a horse.
I've sat on the sidelines as much as I can on this, Westy. This investigation is over.
I don't think it is, Mike. Just because the first thing we come up with is a horse doesn't mean those bodies aren't out there. We still have 285 soil samples to test. That test works.
Oh, yes, and while you're testing them, Bishop Grace will be appearing in front of my committee. In full view of all the television lights, screaming his head off about Justice Department persecution. Let me tell you something. You think the local media has been on your back? Well, you just wait till the networks get wind of this. Wes, you're gonna have to apologize to him.
I have nothing to apologize for.
Well, then think of something.
Sorry I'm late.
Got a second call from Martinez in Miami. Another Metro Rail rape murder. Another teenage girl.
A runaway. All attacks occurred between Okeechobee and Lejeune Road stops. Between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.
Victims of choice or opportunity not certain. All between the ages of 15 and 19, all alone during the attacks.
And this time of the year, Miami gets about 5,000 tourists a week. I think we ought to check this one out.
Maybe work on our tans.
Heard it was 82 degrees in Miami yesterday. Just happened to notice it in the newspaper. That's all.
I have no problem with that. Take the plane down there.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Aren't you coming?
I have business. Alan, how are you coming on the rest of those soil samples? We stopped. Why?
We thought the file was closed.
The media does not close cases. We do. Alan, keep checking on those samples. Tony, you and Ann make whatever arrangements are necessary for Miami. Keep me posted.
Wait a minute. No, wait, we spent hours agonizing over which cases fall in our domain and which ones to move on. Now, just like that, Tony and I are on our way to Miami on a case you haven't even reviewed.
Victim number 1, Jordan Laura. Caucasian, 16. Raped and stabbed repeatedly and stuffed into an unoccupied conductor's booth. Victim number 2, Shefflock Tina, 17. Stabbed and raped.
All right, so you read the review.
Read and reviewed. Tony, was the coach impounded? Is the crime scene fresh?
Yes.
That's why I want you down there. Excuse me. I have an apology to make.
Why do we baptize? Why do we immerse? To wash away our sins? To wash away our evil? It's like that simple. No, it is not. Come, child. Come to Father. Are you ready to be received into the arms of Christ's community? To be submerged in his spirit, purified to sanctify, to live from this day forth in the house of Almighty God. And say it.
I love Jesus Christ.
Say, I love Jesus Christ.
I love Jesus Christ.
Say, I love Jesus Christ.
Amen.
When you defame his love, like giving your love in the gutters of hell, say, I hate myself.
I hate myself, Lord Jesus. Please save me from my sins.
Judge not the life you are about to leave. Rejoice in the life you are about to live. Praise God! Praise Jesus. Praise Christ Jesus. Cleanse from your soul life-giving water. Give to me the love of God. Can you feel it? Say, yes, I can. Glory, glory, rise up now, 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 glory, glory. I embrace thee. I embrace thee with the love of God. Accept his everlasting love.
You gotta be kidding me.
The bodies are in the pond.
What are you trying to do to me?
Nobody's trying to do anything to you, Miss Akers. Grow up. What I want is a warrant to get on Grace's property. I'm asking you to do your job.
No, you're asking me to make an idiot out of this office, the Justice Department, and myself.
All right. You want to try this man or not?
Give me a case.
Give me a warrant.
Give me a body.
You let me drag that pond, and I'll give you the bodies of Lena and Wanda Boland.
Look, Grayson, I know you feel you're right. I know in your heart you're so sure about this man that you're willing to put your entire career on the line.
But you're not willing to put yours on the line. You don't have the courage or the faith to ride this one out with me.
Grayson, it's not that I don't want to, it's that I can't.
Don't ever use the word can't, Mary. Can't is for losers. You are not a loser, are you? Just get me back on Grace's property.
I need another reason.
I'll find another reason.
I'm afraid you've run out of time. Bishop Grace has sworn out a restraining order against you. Violated, and if this thing ever sees the inside of a courtroom, you'll be held in contempt. I'm sorry.
Leave your name, number, and the time you call. And one of us will call you back just as soon as possible. Thanks for calling.
How many times are you going to try him?
Till I get him.
Alan. Look. His wife and his son are out of town. He's probably just gone out for dinner and to a late movie.
I'm gone to a movie.
You're making a big mistake.
And he's our friend.
He would do anything for us.
So why can't you see this as your chance to do something in return?
Because I don't think lying to a friend is a very nice thing to do.
You are not lying to him.
I found something that can help him. If I keep it from him, I'm damaging the trust that he has in what we do.
I'm sorry, but I don't feel that way.
Then it's trust in me, all right? He has a right to know.
No one has a right to hand a gun to a desperate man.
Oh, come on. I've known Wes for 7.5 years. All he needs is a little more time and another piece of the puzzle.
You're just feeding his obsession.
What we have found may not be conclusive evidence yet. But I think Grace is capable of murder. And I'm gonna find Wes.
You're just as crazy as he is.
Let's go talk.
Believe me, Alan, I know more than my share about obsession.
I know you know what it is, but I don't think you know when you're in its throes. And look where I find you, sleeping between a couple of sheets that haven't been changed in who knows when.
How did you find me?
I remember the Green River case. You were into that guy so deep you were sleeping on the ground in 40-degree weather, hoping you'd find him by who knows what.
I want to breathe the air that preacher breathes.
That's not obsessive. Look at what you've done. That restraining order was not a casual request. You're in contempt of court. And now you've implicated Ned by having him tail Grace.
That restraining order was against me. The writ was not against the CPU. And I want that preacher covered, just in case he slips up.
You could go to jail. You could lose your job, Wes. Look, I know how much of your guts you poured into the CPU. And I can't believe that you jeopardized the whole thing over a case for which we have virtually no evidence of the man's culpability.
You saw the skin. You know there were traces of tissue on that blade. You know there was human flesh burned in that tub.
Yeah, I know all of that. And I also know that it doesn't add up to conclusive. And so do you. But you just won't admit it. And I can't figure out why.
People look at her, and you know what they see? They see an addict, social outcast, purveyor of disease. She's somebody's daughter. Somebody wants to give to their daughter the same things I want to give to my children. Now, why she didn't get those things, maybe that's her fault, maybe it's not. But she doesn't deserve to be murdered and dismembered by some savior-invoking charlatan.
You'd risk your career to prove his guilt.
You can't think about my career now. All I can think about is that what's left of Lena and Wanda Bolin lies at the bottom of a pond, immersed in God's life-giving water. And I can't get a warrant to get on the property.
Those bones that we exhumed, Wes, they'll get you your warrant.
They're from a horse.
And we analyzed them. And we found that all the essential nutrients had been leached from him. And the leaching occurred while the horse was still alive.
Malnutrition?
Yeah. The horse was starved to death within the last 6 months. Grace has owned that property for 2 years.
Ellen, we could get a warrant. Go out and search that retreat for additional evidence of
cruelty to animals.
Yes.
We have to get the local animal safety people to get a judge to issue the warrant.
Yes, and I'll have that restraining order rescinded. As soon as I can show cause, we could be out there tomorrow. Call Putnam County Fire. I want a pump out there. I want a box with a sieve. How long have you known about that horse?
We were trying to decide whether or not to tell you. We didn't know if you'd be able to handle it.
Didn't know if I'd be able to handle it. Since when are decisions like that made for me? And who the hell is we? The rest of the group? Norma? Who?
Me.
You made a decision that had a direct and critical bearing on a homicide investigation because, in your judgment, I couldn't handle it. I want an explanation.
I thought it was the best thing.
You thought? Your thinking is confined to forensic science, to computers and test tubes, not policy decisions. That is not yours to make.
I was thinking about what was best for you.
I am not a child, Alan. I am your boss.
You're my friend. I'm sorry if I made it.
No. No, I'm sorry. I guess I'm in over my head, Alan. I'm scared. I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't.
I know.
And I'm sorry what I said about the computer and the test tube.
Forget it.
Would you go out there with me tomorrow? I could use your help.
Yeah.
All those things you got paid for on the street, you must give to me freely.
Give to us.
To me, Uriah. All right, come with me. Are you ready to give yourself in service to the law?
In the service of the Lord, huh, Mr. Shotgun? All right, turn it on.
Is in violation of the law. I demand that he cease and desist and that you arrest him for violating a court order.
Bishop, you best calm down. He's got a warrant to search and the court rescinded the restraining order.
On what grounds? I demand to know on what grounds.
Cruelty to animals.
What?
One of your horses died of malnutrition. We're out here looking for evidence of additional violation.
In my pond? If I had committed such an offense, which I have not, the last place I have conducted baptisms in this pond. It is cleansing water. I would never befoul it.
You befouled it when you stepped into it.
I have nothing but pity in my heart for you, Mr. Grayson. You are truly insane.
Shut her down!
Get this thing hooked back up.
This looks like it might just fit the tub we confiscated from your property.
It would probably fit any one of 1,000 tubs, that seems to me.
This is one of Boland's cross.
Another charge with absolutely no substance made by a man whose personal antipathy toward me and my work.
She made this. She made one like this for her mother.
I know something of the law.
Wanda Boland!
There is the law!
Wanda Boland!
Wes! Shut the pump down.
I'm no forensic anthropologist.
You don't have to be. Finger.
Pointing at you.
He admitted it himself.
You did it!
He's not
You
qualified
did
to
it!
make
Wes,
such a
you
judgment.
son of a bitch! You killed them, and I'm gonna nail you! What are you waiting for? You got the evidence? You did it!
Bishop Grace, I'm placing you under arrest for suspicion of murder.
I'm innocent before the Lord. I am innocent before the Lord.
Wes Grayson? Dr. Sutton.
It's a pleasure, Doctor.
Oh, I hear you're a madman with a sack of bones.
Well, a sack of bones, anyway. We appreciate your help. Prefer to keep the evidence in one place, but of course, if you'd rather take it back to your office.
Oh, no. This is fine. No, I have my things here. This will work out just fine.
Tell me, Doctor, can we get something out of this?
Wes, he's been the head of paleontology at the National Museum for 32 years.
Cranium, metatarsus, femur. It's all very straightforward, you know, very straightforward. No teeth.
No, we didn't recover any.
Yeah, that will make it difficult.
But you can still identify the body.
Axe.
Pardon?
Yeah, axe. Blunt tool. Cut up pretty well. You found these in a riverbed?
A pond.
Pond? Ah, yeah. Yes, I see. They smell like stagnant water, you know. Have that bacterial smell. It stinks to high heaven. Here, smell. You know, it's very light in this room. Is there any chance I could get it darker?
I think we can take care of that.
Good.
Doctor, what we need to do here is construct a body or bodies from these fragments, something I can present in court. Now, I'm sorry to be so impatient, but can you tell us, will you be able to do that?
Oh, definitely got enough here for a body. Quite possibly two. Sex, height, weight, specific characteristics unknown.
Ezekiel connected them, dry bones, Ezekiel connected them, dry bones, Ezekiel connected them, dry bones, now hear the word of the Lord.
You have medical records of the two girls you're looking for?
Yes, we do, Jim.
No, don't show me. I like to see how close I get.
Ankle bone connect.
He's a fruitcake. You sure about this guy?
Wes, he's lectured all over the world. He's one of the leading practitioners of paleontology today.
Yeah, but can I put him on a stand?
Yeah, he's testified before. He's odd, but he's good. Hey, why don't you go get yourself some sleep? Maybe someplace other than the mission.
Really can't sleep.
Well, then why don't you at least try to convince yourself that those bones are in good hands, because they are. We'll get some rest.
Wouldn't that be nice?
How's our paleontologist doing with the bone fragments?
He's working them.
Expert witness?
If not a little eccentric.
Oh, eccentric's okay. If guided properly, it can add an extra layer of credibility. Gosh. I guess my only real concern is reasonable doubt. I mean, I gotta convince 12 people that a man of Grace's irreproachable reputation for community service is capable of the brutal murder and dismemberment of 2 young women. That Wanda and Lena Boland aren't in California making porn flicks. That the floor, the tub, and 750 bone fragments all add up to Bishop Grace killing Wandalina Boland beyond a reasonable doubt.
Bishop Grace is guilty. You know that. And your arguments will bear that out in court. What I'm talking about here, Mary, is confidence. Your confidence. Just because a man goes through the motions doesn't mean that he's truly a man of God. His morals are no more beyond reproach than yours or mine. He's a mortal man. He has chinks in his armor, weaknesses like everyone else. You will peel back those weaknesses in court before that jury and attack them.
What weaknesses? The man is a pillar of strength.
A pillar he hides behind. His weaknesses lie in his soul. His weaknesses are in his inability to recognize the fact that the robes that he wears are wrapped around the body of a man. A man with needs and desires. Desires that ultimately led to the murder of those two women. And you will draw the weaknesses for the men and women of that jury by establishing his ongoing relationship with prostitutes. I can deliver to you a man who has seen Bishop Grace with a woman I saw baptized in his church. The woman was a known prostitute, and so was Glenona's daughter.
Well, that means she's gonna have to take the stand to testify to that.
Well, she can't.
Well, why not?
She doesn't know it.
I hadn't heard from you for a few days. I read the papers. They called you a jackass. I have half a mind to stop buying the damn thing. You hungry? Can I fix you something to eat?
Oh, no. No, thank you. Glenona.
It's okay, Wes. If I hadn't already believed in my heart that wherever they are is better than in that man's control, I don't think I could accept it. I'm taking this one thing at a time.
That's good. That's good.
You put him away for now, anyway. But you're gonna put him away for good, aren't you?
We're gonna try. It's gonna be a long, hard-fought battle. A lot of it's gonna be very painful.
I understand that. I do take comfort in knowing that my girls are with God. I promised I wouldn't do this.
No. Just let it go.
They never hurt a soul. They were fine girls. The whole world in front of them. If it's possible, I would like to have Wanda's cross.
Well, that's a very important piece of evidence in the case. I'm sure once the trial is over, you know.
I understand. It would mean so much to me. I want to give them a proper Christian burial. Children that open and innocent deserve to go from our hands to God's in a proper Christian way. What is it? What's wrong, Wes?
Glenona, within the scope of this trial, it's going to be very important for us to establish other relationships that Bishop Grace had in his life. Relationships that may have led him to do what we believe he did. Grace carries denial within him that gives him an oppressed, confusing perspective of women. He has a fascination for the needs and desires of prostitution. He was drawn to the desires of the women as much as they were drawn to him. Lenona, your daughter was a prostitute.
No. That isn't true. I don't believe it. My girl is a good girl. Oh, no, I don't love my
Wes? Got something to show you. Took him about 3.5 hours before it made any sense, but once he hit his stride.
Before you, Mr. Grayson, are the skeletal remains of 2 bodies. On the left, a female, 17 to 19 years of age. On the right, a girl of about 20. Well, how did I do?
Congratulations. You got a case.
In the State versus Raymond G. Grace, I would like to introduce the following into evidence. Exhibit A, the basement floor from the Eternal Light of God mission, upon which we found Exhibit B, a piece of human skin. Exhibit C, an axe found on Grace's Putnam County retreat with matching skin tissue extracted from its blade. Exhibit D, a tub also confiscated from his retreat with a gash in the front left side of the tub. That particle matches Exhibit C, the axe. Exhibit E, a gold cross made by Wanda Bolin, found lodged in a tub fixture that was drained from the lake on Bishop Grace's property, where also was found Exhibit F. 750 bone fragments the state intends to prove beyond a reasonable doubt belong to Lena and Wanda Bolin. Dr. Sutton, will you share with us your professional opinion as to the physiognomy of the skeletal remains presented here as evidence? Remains found in the pond at the retreat owned by the defendant?
2 females in their late teens or early 20s. One 5'4" tall, the other 5'6" tall.
Your Honor, medical records previously introduced to the state show that Wanda Bolin was 5'6", Lena Bolin was 5'4", Wanda was 18 years old, and Lena was 20. Was there anything about the remains that might have manifested itself in a physical uniqueness of either of the victims?
Objection. State hasn't established they were victims.
Mr. Panetti, I think we can reasonably assume those bones did not get into the pond as a result of a suicide. Witness may answer.
There is an abnormal degree of curvature in the vertebrae of the smaller of the 2 skeletons. This would have manifested itself in a case of scoliosis,
causing her to walk with a slight 10-degree cant in her posture.
Your Honor, medical records also show Lena Bolin as having diagnosed scoliosis. Dr. Sutton, what kind of tool might have made the marks you observed?
An axe, particularly evident on the long bones. There are markings that indicate several blows had been struck.
Thank you, Dr. Sutton.
Dr. Sutton, whose bones are these?
Well, they're female, most likely in their early 20s.
I didn't ask for a description. I asked for an identification. Do these bones belong to Wanda or Lena Bolin?
Well, it's my understanding that they're consistent with the physical...
I'll ask the question again, Doctor. Can you say categorically, and without any doubt whatsoever, that they belong to Wanda or Lena Bolin?
No, I can't.
No more questions.
Give it to me. Don't you walk away from me. How come you always running?
Oh, let me go.
You've been laying down all your life. He chose you. He put you in water. Now you're in the salvation of the Lord. Are you think you're too good for me? Huh? Grace didn't know the one make you serve the Lord.
Hold it! Spread eagle, get your wall.
This is between me and her.
Now it's between you and me. You're under arrest. You all right?
Mr. McWhirter, will you identify what's in this bag?
It's a piece of human skin from a female, black.
How do you know that?
Well, we performed a pigmentation test to determine the race and a barnuculus test to determine sex.
Where did you discover this piece of skin?
In the basement of the defendant's mission.
You also found this bathtub and axe on the defendant's property?
At his retreat, yes.
Did you find anything on the blade of the axe?
We found some human tissue that corresponds to the skin that I've just described.
Did they correspond identically?
Yes. Based on DNA comparison, the skin that we found at the mission belonged to the same person as the tissue we found on the blade of the axe.
Could it belong to any other person on the face of the earth?
No.
What did you find in the bathtub?
Well, we found a gash in the side of the tub that had been made by the axe blade. We determined this through a tool mark identification process. We also found residue of kerosene and other flammable materials, along with some human tissue that had been reduced to ash.
All of which led you to believe?
Well, that a body had been hacked and burned in the tub.
Conclusion by the witness.
He is qualified, Mr. Panetti.
No more questions.
You say the skin you found at the mission belongs to the same person as the skin you found on the blade.
Yes.
Did it belong to Lena Bolin?
I don't know.
Did it belong to Wanda Bolin?
I don't know.
I have no more questions.
He could be Jack the Ripper, but if I can't prove it, what difference does it make? All I've got is circumstantial. Glenona Bolin has to take the stand and testify the cross found in the pond was her daughter's.
Damn right.
And then Panetti changes the focus of the entire trial. Grace is no longer the defendant. Wanda is. Glenona has suffered enough.
The only thing worse for her would be to suffer her loss and not see the man responsible punished.
That still doesn't prove that Grace killed them, based on our best circumstantial.
Which this is.
We have to get 12 people to agree. All Panetti has to do is get one to disagree. I'm moving to dismiss.
Mary. Mary, if you do that, we may never get him into court again. Double jeopardy attaches
I
as soon
went to
as...
law school. I know the process.
Well, damn it, let it run its course.
He's having the time of his life at our expense.
At your expense. Huh? Moving to dismiss a case is better than losing it, because if you do that, you don't lose. And you can keep your fragile ego intact.
And we spent all this time trying to satisfy your humongous ego. That is why you went after him in the first place, isn't it?
Oh, the reason I went after him is sitting in that courtroom listening to clinical discussions about her daughter's mortal remains. Now, if that's egotistical, well, that's guilt by association. That's what I do. That's my life's work.
Maybe you should get someone else to take the case. Maybe someone else in the office can pull it out for you.
Oh, no, Mary. You did a good job preparing this case.
Without a confession, or an eyewitness, or film at 11, he's gonna walk.
Justice delayed is not always justice denied. You're right, Wes. Grace's heir apparent made his move. Thrown to the wolves. I think you like what you hear.
You know Wanda Boland?
Yes, I do.
When was the last time you saw her?
3rd of last month.
And what happened on that date?
Bishop Grace killed her.
Judas, your soul will be torn apart by the avenging angels.
The defendant will sit down.
Your eyes will be damned to see within your own spirit.
The defendant will sit.
Did you see the defendant kill Wanda Boland?
Yes, I did.
And how did you come to see that?
I came to see it because I helped him. Cut them up and burn them.
Wrestle with your Satan, Judas, but do not reject my love.
Bishop Grace.
I took care of them, brought them to feast at the table of the Lord.
But then they started turning him down, said no to Bishop Grace. It made him crazy.
Accept the love of God, child.
And when they wouldn't come to see him anymore,
lay not down upon the land that ye bring me to salvation.
Bishop Grace.
Reject not my hands, but be nourished by my love.
Bailiff.
Touch me upon peril of your mortal soul.
I am the power of God. My eye is his eye. My heart, his heart. My hands deliver his judgment. I reject these proceedings. I reject the judgment of this court.
Glory be to God, brothers and sisters. Glory. He shall not be denied. God shall not be denied. I shall not be denied. I shall not be denied.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Counsel.
Your Honor, under the circumstances, the defense would like to change its plea.
You coming to staff meeting?
Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I just want to check my messages.
None of the victims of the Miami rape murder were natives of the area. They were runaways living from meal to meal, and they slept on the trains because they had no place else to go. 90 cents a night's the cheapest rent in town.
If we know you tax them on the train, why don't we have plain clothes units all over?
We did that, but 2 nights ago we found another victim in a dumpster behind the Westland Mall, 2 miles from the nearest train.
he's luring them away from the train, maybe with the promise of a decent room for the night. He could also be reacting to his own sense of paranoia. He knows we're on to him. He's afraid.
What about a DNA check on all the Metro Rail employees?
Well, there's a turnover rate approaching 30%. Now, it's just as likely that he's a former employee as a current one.
As paranoid as I think this guy is, I'd like to focus our efforts on the former employees. He'd still have the keys. He'd be able to get on and off the platform without attracting attention.
New employees always get stuck with a graveyard shift.
So, does this mean he is or he isn't paranoid?
I think he's smart. He doesn't have to worry about running into anyone he knows. Just got a clock.
Well, there have been 3 attacks, no more than 7 days apart. Last attack was Friday.
Doesn't take this guy long to work up a head of steam.
There's no question he does get worked up. The ME report indicates that the stab wounds are all virtually surface. It's as if he doesn't want that first stab to be fatal. He wants the killing process to last.
You know, if this guy strikes again, maybe all of us should head down there. Well, what do you think, Westy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should all head down there.